SexyHackers.com.
Once upon a time, there were a few young girls with a passion for literature, a love of the written word, an inspired infatuation of... Okay, fine. We were a bunch of super dorks with no friends. We spent all day hiding out in our rooms, reading books that were maybe a little inappropriate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Who Let Me Read This, the podcast where a group of us Milwaukeeans, artists, and avid readers gather to discuss the inappropriate books of our childhood, how it's affected our lives, and ramped up our therapy bills over the years. How exciting. This one in particular, I feel like it's going to cause a little spike right now. I feel like I have more to go back and talk about. Judy Blume's Blubber. Who knew Judy Blume could make us all so mad? Wow. So mad. Oh, yeah. Holy cow. And before we get into this, we have just a little content warning for everyone.
Yes. So this book, Blubber, if you're joining us for the first time, go back and listen to the previous episodes and come back, and we'll be here waiting for you. Heavy themes of bullying. There are graphic descriptions of bullying, including physical bullying, and that, of course, seeps into our discussion as well. So just make sure that you are in the headspace to engage with that conversation. Again, the bullying depicted in the book is pretty intense.
Yeah.
So,
as Bianca put it,
gratuitous.
Gratuitous. Yeah, to the point where
torture
it's
porn.
a little over the top.
But it is. Yep.
Yeah. Judy Blume is Eli Roth's pen name.
Right? Be warned.
Green Inferno level.
There is diarrhea.
Diarrhea. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Go back and listen to the last episode. There's diarrhea.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So if you haven't listened, just a quick recap to get you caught up. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been discussing, we met our fifth grader Jill, our protagonist, and her classmates. So Wendy and Caroline seem to be really leading the charge of bullying that happens in the book. We meet Tracy, who is Jill's best friend and seems just kind of on the fringe of these things. And really the target of their bullying, Linda, who has been nicknamed Blubber because she gave a book report on whales. That's it. She just gave a report on whales. Fine. Everyone is taking every opportunity to harass Linda, to trap her in the bathroom, to tease her, to assault her, to make her say, "I will be Blubber forever," to shove food down her throat. It's really, violent.
It's brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Jill also proves that she's just generally a terrible human being by going along with this, contributing to it, vandalizing homes in her neighborhood, being a total snot to her parents and to her brother.
Yeah. Jill is terrible to everyone.
Yeah.
The only person she's nice to is Tracy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And even then, she's sometimes kind of a snot to Tracy.
A little bit. And once again, no adults seem to notice anything is going on, even though Linda is highlighted in the book that Linda, the girl that they're teasing, is constantly upset. And you can tell when a kid's upset. After you stop crying, you don't just suddenly look like you've...
Well, they vandalized her house. Yep. And, the teachers are constantly getting involved because of all of these conflicts that spill over into things. And they're all just like...
Yeah, what's going on? Why did Linda, barf all over the classroom?
Yeah.
Because, you told her she ate a chocolate-covered ant and then lied about it.
Forced her to eat it and then told her it was an ant.
Right?
Yeah. Why is her food thrown all around?
I don't know. Why is she, curtsying and saying, "I'm the smelly whale of the class 206 before she takes a drink from the water fountain?
Why is her shirt ripped off?
Yep.
Because that's a thing that happens in this book.
Yeah.
They tear the child's shirt off.
Yep. And nothing happens. Fifth graders.
Yay.
So, diving into this conclusion, we are all so ready for Jill to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
To get some comeuppance, to become a better person.
Yeah.
So we'll start. There's a little taste of it. Jill finally gets in trouble for Halloween.
Yes.
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 She has to rake leaves.
They do rake leaves for literally, apparently, 8 hours straight.
Dang, what is this yard?
Yeah. He has a full acre.
Yeah. Mr. Machinist,
I don't
what
know.
do you do for
How many trees are in your yard, Mr. Machinist?
So over Halloween, Jill and Tracy, so Tracy's not great either, but they did crack open rotten eggs into Mr. Machinist's mailbox just because he doesn't like it. Because who does?
Yeah, they don't like that he doesn't like when children are terrible to him.
And that he holds them accountable for it.
Yeah, and he took pictures of them.
Yep. That's what he does.
Caught them on camera and then circulated the pictures and was like, who knows who these kids are?
Yeah, which then we get like a lot of weird back and forth of them trying to figure out who ratted them out, and I'm like, you
ratted you out.
ratted yourselves out because you
Tracy
literally
was wearing a handmade, amazing Big Bird costume that was covered in bright yellow feathers.
yeah, and like you had bright or
Nobody ratted you out.
Yeah.
You had an amazing one-of-a-kind costume.
yeah,
Yep. That's it.
like
But they think so.
If they wanted to get away with it, they should have dressed as bums like everyone else.
like all the other kids apparently in their
that's the
costume
thing.
contest.
Yeah.
Their costumes are weird.
They're weird.
I love them, but also they're weird.
They're weird.
Like when you're a kid, weird.
so they're mean to everybody about this, but it's really just that like Mr. Machinist has eyes, and knows who it is, and so they have to rake leaves for like 8 hours.
Yeah. And they like they almost make their way through it, and then their parents are like, we feel like they've done enough.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
They didn't finish the job, but we feel like they probably did enough.
It's been
Fine.
Come on.
She's got to go to a bar mitzvah tonight. It's fine.
right. Yeah. And then at the bar mitzvah, she runs into Wendy. Or sorry, not Wendy.
Linda.
Linda. So yeah, Jill goes to the bar mitzvah, and she's like forced to sit with her and stuff, and it's terrible.
Yeah, because they have a kids' table.
Yep. And she
And Linda and Kenny have like a great time hanging out. And I was like, more of this, please.
Yeah.
Because Kenny is amazing.
They just clicked right away.
Yes.
Those two.
He was like, I got some facts for you. And Linda was like, awesome.
She's like,
Hit
I
me
love
with
facts.
those facts.
Yeah.
I love them.
And then they dunk on Jill a little bit, which I was like, normally this would be sketchy, but
Super satisfying.
you're the worst. So yes, please go in, children.
But then the next day at school, the next day at school, Jill believes that Linda tattled on her for Halloween because she's like, of course, she's
decided,
she's the only one who wouldn't like me. I don't know, you're pretty terrible. I feel like a lot of people would not like you. And
Heads
would
up,
turn on
Jill.
you.
No one likes you.
So she and her classmates decide to hold a trial to decide whether or not Linda has done this. Where is the teacher at this moment?
Right?
Yeah.
With this, it's during lunch, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so they wait
when all
until-
of the teachers Okay,
Disappear.
so apparently in the 70s, teachers left school to go to lunch.
Yep.
Yes.
They didn't have to continue working through their lunch break.
No. Which, I mean, it has its pluses. That's because
for
currently the
Like-
teacher situation is a hellscape.
Oh, yeah.
It's great that teachers got, a little bit of time during the day to actually eat lunch.
Yes.
But also, it's like the Wild West.
Yeah,
These kids are just
Yeah, a teacher comes in and pops her head in
self-policed.
and just checks, like, anybody bleeding? Nobody
You're good?
yelling?
All right,
You're good?
keep
Have all your
Bye.
fingers. Okay, we're
Yeah.
good.
So they whisper until the teacher comes in and checks in, and then they start the trial process, I guess.
Yeah. So Wendy's kind of like leading all of that. Yeah.
They lock Linda in a closet.
Yep. Because that's jail, Sure. And she wants a lawyer, as she should.
Right. She's like, if you're going to make me go on trial, I at least want a lawyer.
Yes.
Yep. Like any of these things.
Yes.
And Jill doesn't like how this is all going down.
Because it's not correct.
Because it's not accurate. Yeah, it's not because she doesn't think that it's an okay thing to do. It's because it's not
How
accurate.
she wants it. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
the way she thinks it should be done.
Yes.
And that, again, wraps up Jill. Like, this isn't how it should be done, so I don't want this to happen, and we're shutting it down.
Yeah. Which Wendy doesn't like because Wendy is like the queen
boss.
bee, of this all.
Yeah.
Wendy is the like Regina George of this book.
Yeah.
Yeah. The alpha of all of them. And so she finally turns on Jill and turns the class on Jill.
Yes.
And 133 pages into
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
153-page book, Jill finally starts to learn a lesson.
Which-
a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
And the lesson is mostly just it sucks when people are mean to you. There's still no introspection of like, so therefore I should not be mean to other people. It's just like, well, this stinks.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people are mean to me.
Right. Yeah. I don't like it when people are mean to me. They shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Not like this is wrong.
Yeah. And we get a little brief glimpse of it seems like her mom must know that her child is garbage because like her mom is like comforting her after she's been bullied for like and that's the thing. Also, she's bullied for like 2 days.
Yep.
Like it's not
that many.
it's not a lot. And she's briefly bullied, which is still terrible. No children should bully each other. But she's talking to her mom about how people are being mean to her and mom's like, it doesn't feel that good when somebody does it to you, does it? And she's just like, no. And that's the end of her thought process.
That's it. Yes.
Never
The
is she
entire-
like, man, I did this to somebody else for the whole 130 pages.
I
of
shouldn't
this
have
book.
done that. I
Yeah,
should
no.
apologize.
She's
Maybe
just like,
Linda's
no.
okay. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and they, as soon as Jill starts being bullied, Linda immediately becomes best friends with the girl who was just
Yeah.
like horrifically bullying her.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which like it comes down to like I feel like somebody in Linda's life is failing her because like they didn't address the whole food thing earlier and now she's just like, oh, this person literally was like ripping my clothes off 100 pages ago, whatever that translates to in real time.
Yeah.
And now we're BFF. What? Linda, sweetheart. No.
Nope.
Which like is for some kids like a survival
Oh
tactic
yeah, absolutely.
for sure.
Like I do not blame
Absolutely.
Linda for this. It is unfortunate that like
But-
nobody in Linda's life is like, honey, she
Right.
just tortured
Terrible.
you. Like
Well, when they go to the bar mitzvah, Jill meets Linda's mom, and there is a moment where Linda's mom is like, "Oh, oh, Jill Brenner.
Jill.
Oh, I see." Where like you get the feeling that she has told her mom this is going on, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, but like you know now, what are you?
do something.
Why haven't you done anything? Like your kid is being physically assaulted at school multiple times, and apparently you know about it and haven't done anything.
Right, or talk to her parents, or at least do the lean in where you like you look left, you look right, and you kneel down to that child, and you're like, "Listen here, you little shit."
Oh, yeah.
And you get the scary low voice.
Yeah.
that's a technique I learned from my mom.
Nice.
So Jill's getting teased quite a bit. They call her Baby Brenner.
Yeah.
Yep, Baby Brenner, better
Real
change your
original.
diapers. She's
Yeah.
smelling up the whole room.
Yep.
And then because we can't leave the book without inserting yet another unfortunate negativity with food. Baby
Yes.
Brenner eats only mushy gushy foods like peanut butter because Baby Brenner can't chew big people's food yet. I didn't finish my lunch. Yep. Let's go ahead and continue to tease children about food.
More food shaming.
Yeah.
More food policing.
Yeah.
Any of those.
And she makes a point of saying she doesn't wear skirts. She only wears pants to school
So
because
they
she
can't
knows that
show her underwear.
Yeah.
so that they can't show her underwear the way she did to Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the only lesson she
Yeah,
learned,
at least
apparently.
she learned what to not wear because she was busy bullying another person.
Yeah, which is also a great lesson. Like,
Yeah, so
if you
great.
don't want bad things to happen to you, don't wear this kind of clothes.
Yeah, because
Nah.
victim blaming
Ugh.
is it's peak in this book.
Right? So I'm curious too, what happened to Wendy that she's like, she makes her say, I'm Baby Brenner, I'm not toilet trained yet, and that's why I stink. That's what Jill has to say. And she won't do it, so she's like, then I'll have to check your diapers myself. Hey Wendy, why are you so obsessed with checking kids' undergarments? What's going on?
Wendy, of
What
all of the
happened?
characters in this book, needs
The therapy.
so much therapy.
Wait,
Everyone needs therapy.
yeah.
Good
Quite a bit
Lord.
of help. Yeah. So there's so many WTFs to go over on this. So I think we're just going to take a breath. Everyone take a moment. We're going to take a word from our sponsors, from Sexy Hackers, and the team here who puts all their time and effort into giving us this awesome space and producing this super cool podcast and these wicked cool t-shirts, which are really comfortable and actually fit women of size, like of all sizes.
Yes.
They're accurate. So
And soft.
yeah. They're snuggly.
Soft.
So we'll be back in just a second.
SexyHackers.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Who Let Me Read This for the thrilling, I know we're all thrilled, to conclude with Judy Blume's Blubber. We done. We done with you. Wow. Yeah. So we've gotten through this book and realized that Jill barely learns a lesson in all of this.
Yeah.
Her classmates ignore her. They call her names and they trap her in the bathroom. They start teasing her the way that she did to Linda, and she's forced to make a new friend, Rochelle.
Yep.
Who is the quiet, shy girl in class, which is apparently who the book was. Judy Blume's daughter observed something similar to this in school, and her daughter was like the Rochelle, observing and not knowing what to do in this moment. So my question is, why on earth would Rochelle be friends with this girl?
Yeah, like if anything, the better choice would have been to have Rochelle be friends with Linda, the girl who was actually bullied. So like Judy Blume, what you're telling your daughter is like, if somebody tortures somebody for weeks on end, befriend them.
Sure, because they're definitely going to be nice to you at that point.
I mean, I, as a young person, was, I guess, like an outcast collector.
Sure.
I had a couple of friends who, like, if somebody didn't have any friends, we would like
Swoop in.
Yeah.
swoop in and befriend them.
them.
We were like, "You're the new kid who like nobody likes because his dad is in jail. You're our friend now."
Yep.
Like, so I get the instinct to like everyone hates this person. Like,
Yeah. Let's adopt them.
adopt them.
Yeah.
But also, like, everyone is being mean to her, but she is also horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really leaves like a sour taste in your mouth to see her just like so easily find someone that is just like okay with her. Where Linda is like friends with Wendy for like a day and then realizes she's not being treated well anyways. And then it's like, well, where does this put Linda? Like, why is it that Jill gets the redemption arc and Linda doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so there's a lot of questionable messages of just like it portrays friendship as really shallow, which I feel like at this age, particularly for like young girls, is not the case. It's
definitely not.
incredibly typically like very deep and sometimes volatile.
Yeah.
But like it's portrayed as very like easily thrown away. Because even like Tracy sort of distances herself from Jill because Jill is garbage, but like still. And the lesson is essentially just like find somebody and be nice to them, which is not great.
No.
Yeah, you can do better.
Yeah.
And Judy Blume in this book, she really put it out there. I guess her whole in looking at a lot of her books, she was trying to tackle controversial issues in a more casual, comfortable way. That's the way she positioned a lot of her books. One of her first books was actually written about an African American family moving into an all white suburb.
Okay.
Yeah, which I know I was like, that might be interesting to tackle, but I might just get even more mad because it's still now it's being published and republished. It's not good enough. This isn't enough. You really thought getting to 130 pages of a 152 page book to dedicate to torture porn, accurate, and then just have her be uncomfortable for a couple days? I don't not to say it was a good experience, but for Jill, but wow.
And to never express remorse and never express any sort of depth of understanding of like why she shouldn't have done this other than, well, I don't like it. It's rough. Yeah. Like I was telling somebody about this book, and I think the biggest thing for me is like for adult fiction, it's one thing to portray a story that then you leave to the viewer or the reader to interpret the message. for children, especially if it's something like bullying and your whole intent is she, as Laura said, like she was trying to put this message into the world of like her daughter had expressed, I was in this situation and I didn't know what to do. So she's clearly trying to like give us a guide of like, this happens, what should you do? But it's so interpretive in terms of like how you have to get to what you should actually do. Which is ineffective for children's literature. Like the message is essentially like you can treat people like shit, and maybe you'll also get treated like shit sometimes, but somebody will be nice to you. Like,
and part of her intent was that she wanted to encourage children who are seeing bullying take place to tell someone about it.
Yes.
Instead of just like letting it go. Except for
doesn't
in
work.
the book, throughout the whole book,
Yeah.
anyone who knows about it, any adults that like get any inkling that something is going on, just brush it off and just ignore it. So as a message, that isn't effective. Like you're not going to read the book as a child and say like, I should tell adults. You're going to read the book as a child and say, if I tell adults, they're not going to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, it boils down to 150 pages of kids being awful to each other with no, like, and that's the thing, is it's real life. There's no easy fix. There's not a magic way to resolve the issue. But, like, in fiction,
But
there
putting
can be.
putting one adult character in there who at least acknowledges that, like, this is going on and it's not okay.
Yes, absolutely. Or having Jill come to any sort of realization of, like, actually acknowledging not only that it feels bad when somebody does it to you, but you shouldn't do it to other people.
Especially since it's written in first person, you have the opportunity to present so much of Jill's internal landscape that you can. You can, even if she doesn't change her behaviors, you can still present a changed mindset.
Yeah. Nothing. Not even,
Not even a little.
nope.
And it's, you know, I think every kid learns about bullying at some point, unfortunately. You know, that is a part of life, and we all observed it different ways, and I, you know, of course, had different levels happen to us, and someone needs to be the guide. Like, if you were a kid who had never learned the lessons at all, and you pick this up, this is a guide to bullying.
Yeah,
Of how
absolutely.
to bully.
Absolutely.
Effectively.
Way too many ideas on how to bully people and police them and watch them and like
And how to get away with it.
yeah.
And so the book was actually banned in a good amount of schools for that reason.
I am so pleased to hear that.
But then it
honestly.
but then it was reprinted and reprinted and reprinted and put into schools as like, no, it's a lesson. You're like,
It really isn't though.
nope,
It really isn't.
We don't need that. I mean, kids in my school had an easy enough time bullying on their own. They didn't need ideas. Ours wasn't like, at least what I experienced, wasn't as physical and as extreme in this, but it was a underlying constant in our town.
Rumors and
You got bullied if you did anything special. That was it. If you were smart, you know, if you were chosen for something, like if you were class president, we came from a town of, it was like very enforced of you're not special. Like that was the message. And if you tried to be, Sarah and I were actually discussing this on the break, I got picked on for wearing my very stylish green velvet turtleneck bodysuit.
amazing.
Thank you.
right. I like that is so in right now.
In like 6th grade, and I got it at a garage sale, and I remember these girls coming up to me, and I could tell they were picking on me because they were like, you do it, no, you tucked her, and they were like snickering, and then still that feeling still sits in my stomach. They're like, where'd you get that? And I had gotten it at a garage sale because that's where my family shopped, and I was like, Deb, the cool store in town.
Deb.
Deb
Dab. Yes.
And they were like, I was there yesterday. I didn't see it there. I was like, oh, there was like only one left. And they just sat and laughed some more because I had tried to have style and do something different.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre that sticks to us. But so the idea is kids don't need any help
Yeah,
bullying.
they really don't.
They will weirdly find anything different about you and single it out. Why? Which is a note I think I saw in here. Children and sociopaths are functionally basically the same.
Yep.
Discuss.
Oh, that was me.
Yep.
Discuss.
Wow, they really are.
Yeah. Like, I mean, your brain is still developing, and you're still developing that sense of empathy and that.
Yeah,
like,
and you need people to help show you that and teach you that. And if you don't learn it. You learn from other things, like this book. And like, so you have to have like the right input into kids as they're learning those concepts. Otherwise, they learn either the opposite or completely other concepts. Like, it's a mess.
Yeah. Ugh. lots of things.
Yeah.
Yep. Judy Blume. I don't.
Oh, Judy Blume.
Yep. This really, it changes my view now on a lot of her books, and I kind of want to go back and read some of my other, favorites. Her idea was, so she started writing young adult novels. That was like her bridge into the world. And then she said, as she put it, she got married, she had kids, she got bored, she got divorced, she got married again, got bored,
Judy.
got divorced, and then started writing books that were much more adult fiction, that were really a lot about repressed housewives.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
she takes a lot from her own experience, and apparently she has quite a relationship with her followers on Twitter. Like if you tweet her, she will talk back.
Cool.
So I searched for some things around Blubber, and it's very specifically not mentioned. Like, I wonder if that's like shut down. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. Because, so many other things in her books were part of her life and things she wrote about what she knew, and she doesn't talk about this. Like,
I wonder.
Judes, what happened?
I would be very interested to know like how she thinks it holds up, because
Yeah.
I said this a couple episodes ago, like the cultural conversation around bullying has changed so much. Yeah. Especially within the last like 5 years. Like since the last reprint of this book, the cultural conversation around bullying has changed so much, and we're seeing kids, and part of it I think is we're seeing it more. It's more publicized. Social media makes the internet and social media put information right at our fingertips that wouldn't have been
Right.
30 years ago.
Yep, bullying's public.
But we're seeing kids who are being bullied to the point that they commit suicide.
Yeah.
Like, and it's at our fingertips. It's something that we can find out about right away. And so it doesn't have that distance of like, well, that's a terrible thing. It's immediate and it's raw. And so it has become much more of a conversation in our culture around like the effects of bullying.
But what we're not having a strong enough conversation about is the preventative measures.
Right.
Yeah.
And we, talking to a friend of mine, her little 5-year-old boy is getting teased right now, and so she's working on it. He's very tall for his age, and so he looks like he's about 8 years old. So kids don't understand why he doesn't act like he's 8 years old. So they're teasing him on the bus to like preschool and stuff like that. And she was telling us about it, that his response was to come and, to tell her about it. And she asked like how it made him feel, and it was bad. And what did he say to the little boy who was teasing him? He's like, I didn't say anything. I wanted to talk to you first. I was like, wow, okay. She's like, so why do you think that he's teasing you? And it's maybe because he doesn't understand his feelings yet. And he's trying to express that. So let's have some empathy for him. So the next day on the bus, little boy's teasing him, and her son's like, it's okay that you don't understand your feelings yet. I am pretty good at understanding my feelings, and I can help you with that because I am good and I am kind and I'm a good big brother. And those are things that I'm good at.
I am like
And his name
legitimately
was
tearing
Kenny.
up right
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
And then he told him, he's like, so let's find out the things that you're good at. That's it.
What?
And I was like,
Sweet
you are
baby
the
angel.
best mom in the entire world.
So
That your kid knows how to do that. But your kid knows how to do that because he's been bullied so constantly that
absolutely.
he's learned that lesson. He has learned that dialogue. He can roll that off. So everyone needs to teach your kids how to handle bullies.
Yeah. And communicate and listen to your children and watch them and see, like, if they're not acting like themselves, there is something a fair amount of the time. Just speaking as myself.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't expect
so-
your kid to handle things that adults can't even handle. Like,
I'm gonna butcher this quote, but it was I don't know if it was a child psychologist who had said, like, I never ask why a kid is why a kid who's being naughty, like, what is wrong with a kid that is being naughty. I always ask what that kid needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
Right.
what does Wendy need?
Wendy
Yeah.
needs a lot.
Wendy, wow.
Jill needs a lot.
Wendy
needs a
relies
lot.
on her status and power, so I feel
Yeah.
like she just needs more time with her parents, probably.
Right. She needs
Jill
recognition.
probably
She's
does
alone.
too, really.
Yeah, honestly. Get kids help. Come on.
Acknowledge them.
Yeah.
Talk
Your
to
children
them.
are human beings.
Yep.
Help them become better human beings as they grow.
please. And I think that's the great message that everyone should take away from this book.
Might not be in the book, but we're giving it to you.
Yeah,
now.
that's what I think you should take away. And on that note, I don't ever want to
Yeah.
see this book.
Yeah.
again. This
Everyone
kid
throw
in
your
my
books.
books.
It's
You can
fine.
just-
The worst. Get yourself a chaser if you read this book.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of a chaser,
Oh, Boise.
our February book is a doozy.
Holy cow. So coming up in February
For Valentine's Day.
What? Oh man.
We are going to be reading New Moon,
Twilight series.
the second book in the Twilight series. I think we can all agree that it is the worst book in the Twilight series.
Which is
the
saying
most
something.
infuriating.
None of them are
book.
good. This one is the worst.
I feel like this is retribution for me making you guys read Flubber as you're making me read Twilight. I don't know if that's balanced or not. That's fair.
Yes. We are going to be deep diving into Stephanie Meyer's
Twilight. Awesome.
timeless classic,
Super exciting.
New Moon.
And so our next episode will be out in February. Do we have any cool projects that we should be checking out for you guys if people are in the Milwaukee area?
February.
For you and I.
Yes. Cabaret Milwaukee is going to be
The first couple of weekends of February. Starts like the 5th.
somewhere in February. We'll be doing
February.
the second part of their radio drama show, Politics and Anarchy, which is about Milwaukee history.
Yeah.
Actually, about Mayor Daniel Hone, namesake of the Hone Bridge.
Yep.
And
Jingle singers and
Yeah.
comedians and all sorts of fun stuff. It's a very cool, like, old-fashioned radio play. So you can check out Cabaret MKE to get future dates on that.
Yep.
Andrea, Bianca, any cool stuff that we should check out with you guys?
I
You
know.
have an Etsy.
I do have an Etsy.
Definitely
Yes.
check out Bianca's
Yes,
Etsy.
please do. It's called Leaf and Luna. I do cosplay stuff. And speaking of cosplay stuff, I'm going to be doing like a workshop panel. Fingers crossed. It's been a while since I've talked to the person running it, but their Milwaukee Public Library at one of their branches will be having a cosplay workshop.
Cool.
They invited some cosplayers to come in and talk about what they do, how they make their props. Don't know who I'll be cosplaying as yet, but we're going to talk about that stuff, how to get into it and be smart and use materials to create your favorite characters. But yeah.
Excellent.
So look
And
for
that's
that
through
on their
Milwaukee
site.
Public Library.
Milwaukee Public Library.
All right.
Can't remember which branch, but keep an eye out for it.
Nice.
Excellent.
Andrea, anything cool going on?
We'll have a little bit between this and that. We can talk about it more when we do Twilight, I guess. But a bunch of us do Boozy Bard Productions Shakespeare Raw. And we will be starting our next season in March, starting with Julius Caesar.
But of
so that's going to be sick. So keep an eye on any of our social medias. We'll talk about it more too. It's a super fun, impromptu, unrehearsed we pick names out of a hat and play characters in Shakespeare shows. So Julius Caesar's that was a fun one. Plenty of murder. That was great.
So much murder.
Intrigue.
Lots of murder.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Lots
Make
of
sure
things
that you
coming.
check out the other Sexy Hackers podcasts. No Dice every Monday night. The
All
Arcadians
Arcadians
drops
just
on
started.
Fridays.
Yeah.
Turn to Page Fun.
On
the shirt I am
Mondays?
wearing. I cannot get out from behind this microphone. Turn to Page Fun.
It's following you.
I have no spatial awareness. So
Super fun.
Turn to Page Fun. They drop on Mondays. We drop on Wednesdays. Who knows? Who knows what other hijinks
develop.
Sexy Hackers will be getting up to by January?
Oh, the 1st and 15th,
and
is the
15th.
Arcadians. Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Twice a month. Awesome. Very cool. So thank you very much to Sexy Hackers for giving us this super cool space, another artist to collaborate with. Thank you very much to my guests for going on this journey with all of us. It was a journey.
It was a trip.
Yay. Yeah. Tell your friends. So awesome. Thank you guys very much. And we will see you later. Bye.
SexyHackers.com! Stream Team!